Hey Wilmington, I'm Abby Winstead and you're watching The Current. Our goal is to provide the Wilmington area with relatable and breaking stories, an inside scoop to student life, and connecting Seahawks while we soar apart. The Current is here to help you keep up with the flow. Today on The Current, we'll be interviewing Pia Ohnheiser, an international student from Germany who has come to America at an interesting time, to say the least. Also, a new film building is being introduced to campus, details from the recent Seahawk Leadership Conference, and a former Seahawk basketball player has brought some serious hardware. So stay tuned. But first, I'm here with fellow Seahawk Pia Ohnheiser. Welcome, Pia. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Hi.
Good. So first, Pia, will you just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and what's your major?
So I'm from Germany. I'm from the south of Germany, and my major at home at my university is media and communication. But here I take classes in different departments. So I'm in a production class and I'm in an editing class. So I just take all the classes that I'm interested in, and yeah, it's different departments.
Yep. Okay, so being an international student, we want to get an inside look at what your experience is. So first, what made you choose UNCW?
So it's actually kind of a funny story. I lived in North Carolina before, and I was an au pair, and I loved it so much. And just 2 semesters ago, my university at home became the partner university of the UNCW, and I just saw the chance and I took it, and now I'm back and I really love it.
That's awesome. So how is it different being here, like university life in America versus Germany? Like how is the class different and stuff like that? Would you dive into that a little bit?
Yeah, so there are actually a lot of differences. Here it's more of an applied learning. You actually learn how to do things and do them yourself. And at home it's more like you go to class and the professor tells you on how to do it, but you don't really ever do it. So that's what I really enjoy. What's also very different is that we don't have student housing, so we don't live on campus. It's almost like going to school or back to school. It's just you go, take your classes. I mean, now they're online too, where I'm from, but you go there, take your classes, go home. A lot of people still live with their parents. That's very different. And then another difference is that here people come with their cars. Everywhere I go in Munich, it's just I go with my bike, and here it's like to a certain extent you can go somewhere, but then there's that's it.
Yep.
You can go
Too far.
around campus, exactly, and that's it. Yeah, that's different.
So how is tuition different compared to Germany versus the U.S.?
So I got a scholarship, but of course in America it's a lot more expensive. In Germany I think it's like $200 per semester, and that's it. So that's a lot
big
cheaper.
Difference.
Yeah. I mean, we don't live on campus, but still all the tuition that we pay is very little. And then also we have a lot of public transport, and that's also included in our tuition. So
absolutely, yeah.
Yes, a lot less.
So what has been one of the biggest culture shocks for you since you've moved here, biggest surprise that you've had?
Honestly, the ACs. I can't, it's so cold everywhere I go. I bring a jacket or a sweater because it's so cold. We don't really have a lot of ACs in stores or here at university. So that was probably the biggest shock.
I'm surprised you're not used to colder weather.
That's true. Yeah, I should be. That's true, yeah.
Yes, so what were you most excited about moving to the U.S.?
Actually, the whole college experience, and here on campus you have a lot of clubs, so you can go and do the beekeeping club or running club or different clubs, and we don't have that, so that was probably the most exciting thing.
Yeah. So speaking of clubs, how has UNCW helped you transition by being an international student?
That was really easy. I joined a couple of clubs in the beginning, and I met a lot of people who were very nice and who helped me find friends, and now I'm busy all weekend, so that's really nice.
That's awesome. That's really great. So speaking of programs, what programs has UNCW offered to you that make it easier to be an international student on campus?
There is the international office. They have a lot of events. Most of them are online, but that's fine. And then they actually really try to put international students into groups, but also connect us to American students. So that's really nice that there's somebody who I can connect to because they're also from Europe, but then I really want to hang out with someone who's actually from here.
And branch out.
Yeah.
So transitioning to COVID obviously has affected numerous the stuff from U.S. to Germany. So how would you say that COVID has like affected the international studies like program and your being here at the campus?
Yeah. So I wish I could do more events.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like the big thing in American universities where there's something going on every day. And if you walk down Chancellor's Walk, there's barely any people. I feel like that's a little sad. But since I haven't been here any other semester, and that was like the first semester I'm here, I don't really miss anything. So yeah.
So now we have some more fun questions from our studio crew that wanted to ask you. So what is one food or beverage that is tied to German culture that is your favorite or something that you miss the most?
So there's this thing, it's called gebrannte Mandeln. You probably have that too. It's just like almonds and they're coated in sugar. And we, especially because I'm from the city where the Oktoberfest is from, and that's like the big hit. We all love that. And that's what I kind of miss, especially now when it gets colder. That's like the best snack. Yeah.
So what is one famous historical site in Germany that you have been to, and why do you enjoy it the most?
So where I'm from, there's a lot of castles. So that's probably, it's always impressive. It never gets old. Every time you go there, it's so majestic, especially when they're in the mountains. So
yeah, that sounds beautiful. So speaking of being cold and you being cold over here, while living in Germany, what is the warmest day you have experienced?
The warmest day?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question. So usually it gets really hot in August, and then we just go to the lake and just hang out there. But like August is like the hottest month, and we're just outside and spend all day outside.
Okay, so now we want to ask you, since we've learned a little bit about where you're from, we want to find out a little bit how much you know about UNCW or the Wilmington area. So I want to ask you a few trivia questions, and if you get them wrong, it's perfectly fine. We understand. So first, when was Wilmington founded as a city? Give you your best guess.
The 1742?
You're very close. It was 1739.
Really?
Yeah,
Hey.
good guess. Okay, so this one, who went to Laney High School and is named the GOAT of basketball? You watch basketball?
No, I don't. I just know, I think Michael Jordan.
Yep, it's Michael Jordan.
Okay, good.
Good
So
job.
he's from North Carolina.
Okay, so this one I don't expect you to know. I didn't even know this one. The clock tower on UNCW's campus can withstand what category of hurricane?
How many categories are there?
There's 5.
5, okay.
Yeah, we're known for hurricanes over here.
5?
Yep, 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 it can. All right, so Lutzy Hall, where we're in right now and where the studio is located, what was its original name?
The communication hall?
No, it was actually the Lakeside Hall.
Oh.
Yeah, so very surprised about that one. All right, so then I have one more question. So what is the center of UNCW's campus?
The center? Maybe Fisher Union?
No, that's what I would thought. No, it's actually Wagner Hall.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
That wraps it up for our segment with international student Pia Ohnheiser. Now stick around for your weekly Seahawk news. Welcome back, Seahawks. Here's what's current on campus today.
The annual Seahawk Leadership Conference was held virtually on October 17th with the theme 2020 Vision, Leaders of Tomorrow. The goal was to empower students and connect them with community leaders in Wilmington and UNCW. The conference speakers ranged from Wilma Award winners and local business leaders to student leaders currently serving our campus. This conference was free and available to all enrolled at UNCW and was created by students on a mission to make leadership within the reach of every student. Speaking of Seahawk leaders, we now have an alum NBA champion, right, Abby?
That's right, Kirsten. No matter if you're a Miami Heat or LA Lakers fan, UNCW also had a win at this year's NBA championship game. Former Seahawk Devontae Cacok became the first UNCW alum to become an NBA champion. The Los Angeles Lakers won the NBA Finals, defeating the Miami Heat 106-90 on Sunday, October 11th, taking the series 4-2. Cacok joined the Lakers this past July and got to play a role in the franchise's 17th title as a forward. While at UNCW, Cacok became the infamous rebound king by leading the nation in rebounds and is UNCW's 4th all-time scorer. Although Devontae's storybook season drew to a close, we are still very proud that this Seahawk got to wrap his arms around the National Basketball Association's coveted Larry O'Brien trophy. Back to UNCW's campus, construction isn't new these days, and it looks like the film department is growing rapidly. Kirsten?
Due to growing demand for film studies programs, the UNCW Department of Film Studies is currently constructing a new building. This building will include a 4,000 square foot soundstage and a state-of-the-art theater, which will give students hands-on experience and allow them to study cinema and even host events. This building will be located near the intersection of Plyer Drive and Regal Road and is set to be completed by spring 2021. That wraps it up for us this week. Thank you for joining us today on The Current.
Tune in next time for The Current for another Till-tastic time.